Well, at this point, you're probably thinking, oh, what's going on here? This is all a bit different. This is a mystery of a TV. I've had this TV for 2 months, and the customer is starting to get a little bit teased. Well, not teasy, but he probably thinks I'm messing him around, and I'm not. It's the TV that's messing me around. This is a Panasonic Vestel. It's a 40CX300b. It's the edge-lit model. And it came into me a couple of months ago because it was losing its picture after about 3 or 4 minutes. So it had to be a backlight issue, didn't it? Had to be a backlight issue. So I've stuck some new backlights in, a new edge-lit strip in. The picture came back on. I cleaned it up, gave it back to the customer, and the customer said, we're still doing the same. I thought, I know I should have tested it for longer, but... So I've got it back in. And yes, I've plugged it back in, and the backlights do go off again after about a minute or two. We've tested the backlights thoroughly. They seem to be fine. Remember, it's an edge-lit strip, even though I am calling them backlights. The only thing I could think of is the LED driver was getting weak on the power supply. So I bought a new power supply. Power supplies for this particular board and the edge-lit strips are not cheap. I don't know why. There's just something about this model. Picture quality on it is very good, even though it is now an old TV. So new power supply went in alongside the new backlights, and guess what? We didn't get any backlights at all. They wouldn't come up. So we've had new edge strip, new backlights. I even put a new LED driver in the old power board. And I'm thinking, well, it must have been the last set of backlights I bought must have been faulty, just like the original set that the customer brought in. Bit of a spooky coincidence, but it's the only thing I can think of. So tonight, bearing in mind this TV has got a new power supply in it, and the last state we couldn't get a picture, I just plug it in, and look what happens. The picture comes up. It's working. Yet we spent an hour on this last time on this power supply and could not get the picture to come up. This is a real haunted Panasonic mystery. So I'm just going to have a play with it for a few minutes. I'm filming this in 4K, so it's not going to have any special edits or anything like that. And it's picked up through the microphone of the 4K camera, so not necessarily hi-fi stereo, but you'll get the picture, which is more than this TV should be. Just going to see if I can wiggle this to go to HDMI 1 so we get a picture, and I want to see how long the picture stays up for. Well, I've got that off. Now give me HDMI 1. There we go. Oh. Right, HDMI 2, I'll just swap them over. I'll switch on my thing to get a bit of snooker. I can't show that. Let me just get the glare off. Right. Some snooker up here. Right, so while the snooker's, I'm just going to have to wait and see if this picture stays on. I'm just going to have to see if it stays on, or if this again switches off after a few minutes like the customer says. It is rather frustrating. Well, it's been on for about 6 or 7 minutes now, and this TV is refusing to switch off. Yet, the last time we plug this in, it wouldn't come on at all. No picture at all. So intermittent backlights is what we've got, even though it's a new set, it's a new strip that's in there. And I was just wondering if the new set that I'd put in was faulty, which is why I've got another one here to put in. So this TV has not been switched on for about 2 or 3 weeks while I've been waiting for this set, but now it's absolutely fine. It is working, but I can't give it back to the customer because I haven't done anything, and it's obviously not repaired. And I know it's faulty because we couldn't even get a picture on it last time. When I put the new power supply in, I could not get a picture on it. So I'm going to let it warm up a bit more and see if the picture goes off. And then what I want to do is just plug these in. I'm not going to put these in the screen. I'll just plug these into the power supply and see if they stay lit up for a couple of hours. But I'm now kind of aiming towards that this is going to be a main board fault. I've never come across a Vestel main board that's not switching on the backlights or is switching them on intermittently. We've tested the wires. We've put a new power supply in. We've put a new set of backlights in. And yet it's still intermittent. What am I missing? It's got to be the main board. But it's not switching off. I wonder if it's got anything to do with the TV being upside down. Don't laugh, because it's an Edulit set. But we've tested the connections. So I think the only thing I can do now is get a main board for this. But I'm sure the customer thinks I'm messing him about because I've had this for a couple of months now, but I'm really not. I'll just have to chase up another main board. I'm going to turn the TV the other way around so it's the right way around, so hang on a second. I just want to turn it down. Only because I've had so many strikes from YouTube in the last few weeks. It's enough to drive you mad. Let me see if I can force this picture to go off. Nope. Frustrating. I've got to let it run. Got to let it run. And at this point in the edit, the TV's been on for an hour now, and it's absolutely fine. I've just got a freeze frame of it, don't worry. It all seems to be working great. But it's not. Something's going to happen. I'll give it back to the customer. It'll go wrong. I think I've got to order a main board. Then I will know I've got a new power supply in there, a new main board, and it's had a new strip of backlights. I mean, backlights either work or they don't. Then it's not very often they can be intermittent, as in work one week and not the next. You know, do you know what I mean? A new strip. New power board. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. So I'm just wondering if anybody else has ever had dealings with this particular model. It's the Panasonic. It's a 40CX300b. Sorry, I said 400b earlier, didn't I? This is the 40CX300b. and losing its backlight, losing its edge-lit strip. Even though, as far as you're concerned tonight, it's working absolutely fine. I've had this TV for 2 flipping months, and the last time we played with it, as I've said, we couldn't even get a picture on it with the new power board. Then all of a sudden tonight, plug it back in, expecting no picture, works like a charm. I'm confused. I'm genuinely confused. And I've just got the TV to the left of me. It's been on for about an hour and 5 minutes. It's still working fine. Should I go for a power board? A main board? Oh, I don't know. I think I've got to. Or I may just let the customer have it back and see. I don't know.